The Politics podcast is brought to you as always by TakePoliticsSeriously.com. That's where you can support the show. If you are a $3 a week contributor, you get 3 podcasts a week. Not only this free one right here on Wednesday that will always be free forever, friends, but also Monday, Friday. The news that breaks on in between gets covered for you on those shows. You get your own custom RSS feed. Couldn't be simpler. Also, if you have Amazon Prime, we're now in the middle of the month, August 15th. I'm going to try to remind you guys on every middle of the month episode, what you need to do is head on over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung, and subscribe. You're going to have to just Google Twitch Prime. If you have no idea what any of those words mean, Google Twitch Prime. It'll walk you through connecting your Amazon Prime account to a brand new Twitch account, and you'll be able to subscribe to my channel for free. This is use it or lose it money that Prime gives you, and I'm calling dibs. So if you want to know how to do it, just Google Twitch Prime, and you're going to come to my channel, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. One last thing, I got a brand new game out. It's called Action News. Think Anchorman, the game. If you really liked my last game, The Contender, you are going to love this game. I guarantee it. It's been a treat seeing everybody with taking pictures of them and playing them over the weekend. I can't wait for you to see it. Head on over to actionnewsgame.com. But enough of talking about how we support the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing?
Politics, 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 politics. Politics, yes. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, baby, 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 baby.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Politics podcast. My name is Justin Robert Young. Yes. We're back. Back in the saddle again. We're back. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. Man, Alex Jones got suspended from Twitter after he called Jack one of the members of the people that were fighting for free speech in this country, and he got suspended for 7 days. Omarosa's selling a book. Y'all know that Omarosa's out here selling a book? Omarosa's selling a book. She's hijacking the entire news stream for a week so she can sell her book, a book that's apparently pretty bad and you're almost certainly not going to read. We had a primary night last night. Democrats had a big old night of firsts. We're going to talk all about that. There are some new indicators that indeed things are looking favorable if you're a member of the blue team for the Wave Watch. And Ted Cruz is starting a Whataburger feud with his opponent, Beto O'Rourke, in Texas. All that, and the pole dance, and but your emails, jam-packed here today. Let's go ahead and talk about Alex Jones. Old Alex. Alex. This is the word from The Verge. Twitter suspends Alex Jones for a week. The conspiracy theorist was suspended for sharing content that incites violence. Apparently this came when on a Periscope broadcast, he said that you are going to need to grab your guns because the Chi-Coms and an assortment of other cohorts for which Alex Jones continually warns us about will be coming for you. In fact, let's see. Somebody try and get me Somebody try. I didn't grab that clip. Let's actually grab that clip. Let's see if somebody in our live Twitch chat can help me grab that clip, because I definitely screwed up in not getting it. I'm going to reiterate what I said before. I'm going to reiterate what I said last week about Alex Jones. Where does it end? Like, because, by the way, this is not a prediction. This is a spoiler. All right? The more people are kicked off these platforms for hate speech stuff, the more you are going to see the rise of groups that will just repost the things that they are doing. And now the question is going to be, how quickly do you ban the groups? And now the question is going to be, well, if a group by and large posts clips from other people that aren't Alex Jones, but also post a lot of Alex Jones stuff, is the posting of but one Alex Jones clip enough to get them kicked off? Is it, as they say in this industry, ban evasion? And also, would a fan group, per se, be required to demonstrate that they are not connected to the larger parent organization like Alex Jones? These are the questions. These are the questions. All right, here. We have the 13-minute rant. I can't believe no one... You want to be honest? This is something that does actually bother me. That it's like, all right, if this is enough to get him banned, like, let's be able to show it, right? Oh, wait. No, this broadcast is not available. It's been taken... Pierce, it has been taken down. As you can see, our normal broadcast position on Periscope has been eliminated. This is something that we have all foreseen. But folks, we've all known it. We've all known it. We've all seen it clearly in their eyes. The cabal of Chi-Coms, funded by George Soros. This is all documented on InfoWars.com. When I log on to Periscope and I ask all of the good, fair-minded Christians, libertarians, patriots to please give me hearts. My favorite part of Periscope is when I can see a big old stream of hearts. When I say the clear, indisputable fact that there is a conspiracy, a war for your mind that is here. That they are not on the shores, my friends. They are not on the shores. They are on the ground, stealing your freedom, looking your baby in the eye and saying you don't get to grow up in a free country. Yeah, with their goblin eyes stinking, their pustules protruding from their face. They say you don't get to live in a free country. We've taken it away. We've given it to the globalists. We've given it to the corporations. We've given it to the communists. We've given it to the Chinese, Mark Zuckerberg, George Soros, and Amazon, Jeff Bezos. We put it on a spaceship. We're goblins from space. We're goblins from space. When I say that to the good, free-thinking people of this world and they hit the heart button, it makes me pleased. So yeah, whatever. We'll find the Alex Jones clip. I think the stuff that I know that I can read here is that he said that people should grab their guns, which Alex Jones is somebody who regularly delves into metaphors. I know this from watching Alex Jones clips. There's a reason why, as a parody, as a parody, that's the funniest part about it, is to just make his metaphors more ridiculous than they already are. Because he uses very ridiculous metaphors. But the funniest thing about people with Alex Jones is they don't listen to a lot of Alex Jones, nor do I think that you have to. But I do think that we should be more informed on exactly who he is if you're going to ban him. All right, here we go. This is from Media Matters. This is Alex Jones on why this is the reason why Alex Jones got banned from Periscope.
It now stands with you and the U.S. military, who I know already understand who the Chi-Com operatives and the traitors are, to understand who's trying to take the First Amendment, who's trying to bankrupt the country, who's trying to shut down everything, who admitted they wanted to bankrupt healthcare in America to bring us to our knees. We're under attack, and you know that. You've pointed out mainstream media is the enemy. But now it's time to act on the enemy before they do a false flag. I know the Justice Department's crippled a bunch of followers and cowards. But there's groups, there's grand juries, you call for it. It's time politically and economically and judiciously and legally and criminally to move against these people. It's got to be done now. Get together the people you know aren't traitors and aren't cowards and aren't hedging their frickin' bets like all these other assholes do. And
by the way, people in the chat, if you're just listening on audio, are killing me. They're like, oh my God, this impression has gotten so good. Jury's now doing it as a ventriloquist, drinking coffee while doing his Alex Jones impression.
Let's go. Let's do it. Because they're coming. Now, in your wisdom, you may be playing possum and waiting for them to come in. But America needs to know that they've got their little pathetic commie red teams ready. And they've got their targets picked out. The sheriffs, the judges, the police chiefs, the patriots, the veterans, the talk show host, everybody. And everybody's going to be amazed when they come, when those cowards come. And it's going to hit in the middle of the night, and they're coming. And they're coming. And they're coming. They think they can really take down America. And
so, all right, we are 35 seconds in. Or sorry, a minute and 36 seconds into this clip. I assume he's going to get, because the stuff at the beginning where he said, you need to take action, that's probably the scariest part, right? If you don't know what he's talking about, join the club. I think that the point of this is Alex Jones is a propagandist in the most classic terms of the word, in that propagandists don't need to paint the full picture. They just need to paint the scariest and then let you fill in the rest of it. So if you don't know who they are, the Chi-Coms, the globalists, the communists, sure, they're a bunch of assholes in our society, but they know who you are and you know who they are. Like, they'll let you fill in the they. All right, so here we go. This is the final couple seconds of it. Hopefully we'll get to the rifle part.
This is it. So people need to have their battle rifles and everything ready at their bedsides. And you got to be ready, because the media is so disciplined in their deception. Antifa attacked all these people at the White House, beat up reporters, beat up women, children, no coverage. I mean, they've got discipline, folks. They've got criminal discipline because they're a bunch of followers.
All right. So this is where I think you rightfully are able to put together the two parts. That you need to take action right now. You need to take direct action right now. That time is over to play possum. I know in your wisdom, you might be thinking that you're going to play possum. No, I don't play possum. I'm Alex Jones. I'm a rumbly tumbly teddy bear, and I don't play possum. Possum's a communist game. Chi-Coms globalists play possum. I like to rumble and tumble. Yeah, I like to run through the 1,000-acre woods. Yeah, that's what I like to do. Hey, where's Piglet? Where's Tigger? I'm the new Pooh. Somebody put that new Pooh movie with Alex Jones clips on it, because that's my life force. Oh, bother. Where's my honey? Yeah, he's banned because he said you need to have your battle rifles bedside. I'm not going to cape up for Alex Jones. Whatever. He's off Periscope. I do think for all these hate speech things, the question is never, whenever you're making rules, the question is never whether the rule is right. The question is whether the rule will hold. how effective is the rule? How can you police it? What happens when somebody breaks it? To me, at least. And yeah, I'm not saying that this isn't the First Amendment issue. I'm saying that this is something that you need to think about, or else you're only going to make the problem worse. So Alex Jones is in timeout. Maybe I'm going to go catch up on some movies. I'm going to watch The Meg. Very clearly an allegory for the globalist Jacom alliance that's now been set up, infiltrated through Redmond, Washington by way of Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This is all documented on Infowars.com. So Jason Statham, a true American, is going to punch that shark in the face. I just watched that movie. I watched that trailer, and I just feel my blood. I feel my blood pumping. And I say, Jason Statham, put your American fist right in that shark's mouth, and you can show the free-thinking American patriots, Christians, who are watching me right now on my Christian Mingle live streaming platform. And this is it. This is the way we need to treat these foreign invaders. Pow! All right. Here's the other thing that we need to look at. Omarosa. We don't need to look at it. But we are looking at it. Omarosa is selling a book. The book's called Unhinged. I'm not going to read it. She has very effectively hijacked the news cycle by way of leaking out every day or so a new surreptitiously recorded audio tape. And we're going to play a few of them. In fact, here, you want to know? We're going to play two of them right now. A lot of production on today's show. Look at me with all this production on my own show. Here we go. This is Omarosa first talking to Donald Trump about herself getting fired, and then it's going to go right into her talking to General John Kelly, the chief of staff, about whether or not Donald Trump knows about her getting fired. Waiting.
And I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up.
Oh, wait, no. That was the... Oh, sorry. We have too many tapes. Here we go.
Omarosa, what's going on? I just saw on the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
General Kelly came to me and said that you guys wanted me to leave.
No, nobody even told me about it. Nobody.
Wow.
You know, they run a big operation, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't love you leaving at all.
Can I ask you a couple of questions? Is the president aware of what's going on?
Let's not go down the road. This is a non-negotiable discussion.
Omarosa, what?
All right. Those are the first two clips. This then became a conversation about whether or not Donald Trump has ever said the N-word. By the way, on a long enough lifespan, I'm assuming he said the N-word. Even the Trump folks, all right, safe space here. We can all talk about it. I'm assuming most white people have said the N-word in their life. If even just to say, I don't like to say this, or why did you say this? I assume that he said the N-word. It's a different time. It's a different place. I don't know if he's ever said it in anger. I don't know if he's ever said it in the sentence, get those away from me, right? I'm assuming he said the N-word. Now, whether or not Donald Trump said it on The Apprentice, and there is a tape of him, a tape floating around of him saying that he doesn't want to go down where all the ends are to go to a steakhouse after shooting, well, tell you what, there's a lot of detail, and apparently a lot of people have the same detail on that tape I would lean toward the idea that maybe that is a real thing. Omarosa apparently believed it was a real thing. And the Trump campaign, including Katrina Pearson, was preparing for the possible eventuality where it got leaked. And in a moment where they were talking to each other, Katrina Pearson apparently exclaimed out loud, "He said it." Believing, although none of them had heard the tape, believing that the tape was real and they were going to have to deal with it. Here's the other big thing that Omarosa said while selling her book that I'm not going to read. And by the way, I'm not going to read it not because I have a problem with Omarosa any more than I have a problem with anybody, but I kind of feel like we're getting the best parts in the press, right? Although there is one good part that I read in a book review. I'll get to that in a second. Here's Omarosa on the Katie Tur program on MSNBC.
You were instructed, according to your book, to bring up the emails at every point you could at the end of the 2016
that's
campaign.
correct.
Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yes, that was our talker.
Did Donald Trump know about those emails before they came out?
Absolutely.
He knew about them?
Yes.
He knew what was coming out before WikiLeaks
Yes.
released them? You're saying Donald Trump had a back channel?
I didn't say that, you did, but I will say that
How did you
I am
know
going
about
to
him then?
expose the corruption that went on in the campaign and in the White House. I'm going to continue to blow the whistle on all of this.
But how did he know about those emails? If he knew about them before they came out, how did he know?
You know, they're going to have a press briefing at 2:30. I'm sure you can have your correspondent.
All right. So that's an easy thing for Omarosa to say because she doesn't know for sure. She can just say, I believe he knew. Okay. Now, that's the most damning, by the way. Whether or not he said the N-word, whether or not he was an asshole, whether or not he's lied while he was in the presidency, that's all fodder for his next election. If Omarosa theoretically could be somebody on the inside that would talk to Robert Mueller and say, no, I have evidence to show that at least from the campaign side, there was advanced conversation from the campaign that the Russian hacked emails were being coordinated inside the campaign. That matters. That does matter. I don't think that that's what that means. But of all the things that she has said, that's probably the biggest. Many people are pointing out here in the chat room, yes, indeed. Penn Jillette also said that while he was shooting The Apprentice, that Donald Trump said horrifyingly awful racial things on Mike, enough so that it would make his skin crawl. He declined to say what exactly those things were. Here's his quote. He would say racially insensitive things that may be uncomfortable. I don't think he ever said anything in that room like the African Americans are inferior or anything about rape or grabbing women. But those 2 hours every other day in a room with him every 10 minutes were fingernails on chalkboard. That is the Penn Jillette comment on Donald Trump. What does this all mean? Well, very simply, friends, it means that Omarosa's running for president. I mentioned this on the PX3 Extra on Monday. Everybody give her a round of applause. Congratulations on your announcement, Omarosa. I don't know exactly when she's running for president, but she's running for president. This is my new rule. I told you all as soon as Donald Trump was elected that now a bunch of billionaires were going to be looking at themselves and being like, what the fuck? This asshole? I can be president. Billionaires in general are people that don't like to feel that their egos are bruised. They're very competitive by nature, and they don't like being told no. But there's another element, and this is the new Justin Robert Gerbils rule for likelihood of running for president. If you are able to hijack the media, seemingly at will, then at a certain point, you're going to start to think, wow, That was the hard part of what Donald Trump did. Or at least that was the thing that little Marco couldn't do. That was the thing that Lion Ted couldn't do. That was the thing that Mitt Romney couldn't do, or John McCain couldn't do, or Crooked Hillary couldn't do. So, after all, why not me? I first said this about Michael Avenatti. And now that motherfucker and his bald head are traipsing all around Iowa doing all the same things that Barack Obama did before he ran. So, listen to me now. Believe me later on. I think that Omarosa at a certain point is going to say, why not me? I know how to get the media's attention. Because the real blueprint of why Donald Trump won, while spending very little money and not really getting Republican money through the primaries, and certainly being outspent by Hillary in the general, was own the press. Own the press every day. And if I can't do it by them being friends with me, I can do it by them being mad at me. Brilliant. Now, the press, who is mad at Donald Trump, will take any opportunity to elevate literally anybody who wants to say bad things about him. And so who's filled that void? Michael Avenatti, Omarosa. But you got to get to a certain point where both of those are going to look at themselves and say, I mean, sure, I could probably parlay this into being a part of the press, but that's cool. Not as cool as being president. Speaking of going to Washington, we had a bunch of primaries last night. One of the last few big primary nights before the general election. Hey, a reminder, if you are in the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose Bay Area, why don't you spend election night with your boy? Spend election night with the official Wave Watch show. We're going to be at Piano Fight again, same place we were for the Sex Scandals bracket in March. It is going to be a blast. We're going to review some of the funniest commercials, some of the most important races, and because we're at 7 p.m. Pacific time, this is when we're getting official announcements on when the races are ending. We're going to be we got a ham horn that we're going to be playing whenever there's a new official race. We will see whether or not the Republican majority in the House
And quietly get swallowed by a wave.
So go ahead and get your tickets. Search for Eventbrite for Wave Watch. We'll have a fancy URL as we get closer. Night of Hearst for the Democrats. This is a AP story, Dateline, St. Paul, Minnesota. Democrats in Vermont's primary chose the nation's first transgender gubernatorial nominee. In Minnesota, they picked a woman who would be the first Somali American member of Congress. And Connecticut Democrats nominated a candidate who could become their first black woman from the state to serve in Congress. This certainly leads to tremendous diversity all throughout the Democratic primaries yesterday. There is a great, I have been up front in my love for the 538 podcast. I really, really like it. And I would like to echo them in their latest show. They were talking about the tremendous amount of women that are running in this particular cycle. And they made the point that the question should not necessarily be if they lose in large numbers that, oh, well, like women, people don't like voting for women. The idea should more be whether or not they win or lose. When you're talking about when you're talking about insurgencies of demographics, it's just as important that these candidates get face time and reps. So whether or not in Vermont we see the first trans governor, or whether or not we see the first Somali American member of Congress, or whether or not we see the first black woman to serve in Congress from Connecticut, I think it's important that there is a diversity of careers, right? That you start to close the experience gap. I do think that that's important. I think that that is something worth noting. In a notorious, if you ain't first, you're last, Ricky Bobby kind of business, right? Where somebody can win the popular vote of a national election and still be the biggest fucking loser in history. Like, we do need to have a little bit of nuance here and say that it's good that these people are out there. It's good that these kinds of candidates are going to be in the conversation. Not only for the larger issue, but for, just their careers specifically. They can now run again and say, oh, shit. You want to know what? I fucked up here, here, and here. If I did it again, I'd do different here, here, and here. Also, it was really good. Now I met all these donors that really liked me. I really vibed with them. When I'm thinking about running again, I'm going to go to them earlier so we can get things set up, maybe get a faster start out of the gate. This is the story of politics. The story of politics is failing and understanding how to do better and really being able to build a team that is going to help you as you go forward. We do have one more Wave Watch situation here. Where are we on time? I feel like I spent about 30 minutes doing an Alex Jones impression. The Cook Political Report, one of the authorities on electioneering, David Wasserman, writes, for Republicans, the 2018 House playing field is a lot like a game of whack-a-mole. Everywhere they turn, new problems keep popping up in surprising places. In January, we rated 20 GOP-held seats as toss-up or worse, including 3 leaning towards Democrats. But with today's changes, we now rate 37 GOP-held seats as toss-up or worse, including 10 leaning toward Democrats. Republicans are relieved that State Senator Troy Balderson appears to have eked out a win in Ohio's 12th CD special election last week, but a new round of polls shows several more GOP incumbents, including Mimi Walters, Tom MacArthur, highly vulnerable. Their seats, along with Representative Robert Pettinger, moved from lean Republican to toss-up. So here's effectively what they're talking about here. What we don't, here are things that are indisputable facts. There will be higher than normal Democratic turnout. There will be higher than normal Democratic enthusiasm. This ain't me trying to make a point. This is me using history as a guiding light and every available mathematical, quantifiable tool that we have to say that Democratic enthusiasm will be higher than it is generally. Now, will that be enough to make up for gaps in races where they wouldn't normally have a shot? Well, we don't know. We don't know whether or not it will be enough to get them over the hump. We don't know if it'll be enough for them to get over the hump and have a new majority in the House. It certainly seems like there's a lot of indicators for that, but also Donald Trump has not become as toxic as I think the DNC would have wanted him to. His approval rating still hovers around the mid-40s, sometimes flirting, just tickling the gooch of the 50s. And in general, you don't have a demoralized Republican base. In fact, you have some Republicans that are still very excited. So this is, I don't want to share this link. So, look, I know for a lot of people after the 2016 election, where we have had this super gigantic rise in interest in politics in general, that you look at stuff like Upshot and 538 and some of the models that became very, very popular after 538 did a really, really, really good job at predicting the Obama-Romney contest. Now, everybody wanted to go, dig deep on data journalism. And I think we overemphasized it a lot. It became its own story. And it soured a lot of people on kind of big data. But there is still a tremendous amount of worth here. And I think that no matter your stripe, if you're listening to me, if you're listening to this show, then you should owe it to yourself to pay attention to it. Because there is a lot of cool stuff. Okay, 2 quick things that I want to get out here. One silly and one larger. Let's go with the silly one here first. Ted Cruz is in a probably tougher than he expected battle for his Senate seat. We'll see exactly how tough. Against Beto O'Rourke. We've already paid a little bit of attention to this, but this is just so silly. I had to talk about it. The headline from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram: why Beto's campaign sign resembles the likeness of this Whataburger condiment. Written by Anna M. Tinsley of the Star-Telegram. What's black and white and reminds some people of a tasty Texas treat? Apparently, it's the campaign signs and logo being used by U.S. Representative Beto O'Rourke, a Democrat embroiled with a battle with Republican U.S. Senator Ted Cruz for the Senate. Some are taking to social media to say that these campaign messages remind them of the design of Whataburger's spicy ketchup container. So I'm showing this right now here on screen for everybody who wants to watch it. By the way, you can always watch our podcasts, the video versions, on my YouTube, youtube.com/Justin Robert Young. And it looks similar. Specifically, there's the block lettering with the little, I don't know if it'd be knockout font. The fonts look slightly different, but it is black and white with these like stripes here down at the bottom. Tony Casas, who created the O'Rourke logo, hears this all the time. He said he was trying to design something different and bold, totally different from other campaign logos and signs, as O'Rourke requested. The first design Casas presented was full of color and was quickly rejected. He then presented a black and white version. Beto said, "That's it. This is me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm running for." Said Casas, a partner in the Stanton Street Web Development Design Agency in El Paso. So Casas tinkered with the lettering, cutting off an extended E at the bottom and adding lines to each side for Senate. He saw the resemblance, too, between O'Rourke's logo and the Whataburger spicy ketchup design, but it's pure coincidence. But it worked out okay. Whataburger is awesome. So Cruz, for himself, pointed out that it was also similar to the Hill Country Fair logo on products sold at H-E-B grocery stores. Oh, no, sorry. People are saying that Cruz's signs are doing that. But Ted Cruz also called Beto O'Rourke a triple patty Whataburger liberal. God, I love midterms. Midterms are so fucking down home, right? They're so, oh, God. Midterms get so fucking silly. It's such amateur hour. I love it. Midterms are the difference between NFL football and college football. Like, part of the fun about college football is you get to see, like, some people who are really good that demolish lesser opponents. And sometimes it's like really awesome to see somebody who's like really, really, really good just fucking just eat somebody who's not on their level. And sometimes you see people just trying crazy shit. Like, it's like, okay, in college you can dominate with an option offense. You can't in the NFL because everybody's too fast. But you can take advantage of some shit in college. And that's what I love about midterms. It's like, no, you look like a ketchup packet. Fuck you, ketchup packet. I got one last thought about Space Force, and then we'll move on about this podcast here. People in the chat, twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. We're talking about Space Force before we got started. I hear everybody on the military-industrial complex, the bloat of the Pentagon's budget. I'm all with you on that. Spoiler alert, I've been doing a lot of reading about 1960 and specifically Ike, Dwight D. Eisenhower, our president through the 50s. There's an issue that comes up and weighs heavily in the 1960 election that is primarily driven by John F. Kennedy called the missile gap. It is widely thought to be the very beginning of what Dwight D. Eisenhower, a general and Republican, deemed to be the military-industrial complex, which he believed as a military man was not really benefiting anything other than the profiteering of contractors that sell almost exclusively to the Pentagon. Also, spoiler alert, there was no missile gap. So I'm with you. I'm with anybody who wants to say Pentagon budget bloat. Fine. Here's the issue that I think we kind of need to think a little bit differently. When you say the Air Force already does it, that there already is a space command in the Air Force, which is true, absolutely true. But what you're really saying is, I believe the leadership of the Air Force is doing as well as it possibly can with that space command. Because the idea of a Space Force is that you would be taking probably a lot of that talent and poaching it into another organization. And you were saying that it could be better served by different leadership that didn't have to answer to anybody. And if we're going to start talking about Pentagon budget bloat, it would mean a little bit of a reset on exactly who the people selling to Space Force would be. It wouldn't have to be beholden to the fact that the Air Force already has relationships with a lot of different suppliers. Yeah, not to say that Lockheed, Northrop Grumman, and Boeing wouldn't have their hands in selling to Space Force. I'm sure they would. But at the very least, you could kind of hit the reset button a little bit on the projects. So that's my Space Force thought. We got a really good Space Force email that I didn't have time to read, but hopefully I'll read it next week. Okay. No more talk about Space Force. No more talk about Space Force. In fact, let's chill out for a second, huh? What do you say we just go ahead and get this thing a little bit relaxed, right? Let's just have a good time. What do you say we just have a good time, huh? What do you say we just go ahead and maybe just, I don't know, are y'all into some like data science? Y'all into some, I think I might be into some data science. I mean, what do you say we go ahead? And take a look at the one, the only, Politics approved. Dance. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, this is an Indiana Senate poll as gathered by the Trafalgar Group from July 31st to August 7th. A sample of 1,420 likely voters. It matches Republican challenger Mike Braun versus his opponent, Democratic incumbent Joe Donnelly. Let's go ahead and welcome first to the stage the challenger with 39% of the vote. Let's give a big round of applause to Mike Braun. But his opponent, he is the incumbent, trying to hold on to blue seats to see if the Dems can flip the Senate. Welcome to the stage, Joe Donnelly. That is Donnelly over Braun with a 12. Oh. So this is kind of important because Donnelly was possibly going to be somebody that could have his seat flipped. There's an earlier Gravis poll that had him losing by 1, but a plus 12 is a really, 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 really strong poll for him. Obviously, it's only one poll. You never know. Fairly large sample size, though. So we will see how that does going forward. What do you say we go ahead and check out but your emails? Glenn from Canada wrote in to theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Again, theyoungamerican@gmail.com is where you can get in touch with the show. Just a quick comment on the Alex Jones thing. For me, it's not about free speech. It's about public accommodation. While political ideology isn't covered generally by public accommodation laws, I strongly believe that this is a moral concept required by a civil society. That's not to say that I think that platforms shouldn't be able to boot Alex Jones. They should have the clear rules and show where Jones broke them. Yes, that means that people will be hunting for examples to get more stuff kicked off, but we're all going to that particular poop buffet anyways. The best way to limit its effect, maybe instead of poop, is halfway decent Chinese. Really is to have clear rules and then enforce them fairly. I'm with you. I think that there should be, with public verified media accounts, you got to have clear and present stuff. Or as, maybe this is a way that we're developing new language. If Alex Jones is like, I need everybody to pick up the bayonets of freedom. I need you to just stab your enemies with the bayonet, rip their stomachs out, rip them. Metaphorically, like, do you need to say that? Do you need to have like a psych at the end of everything? Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to say like, well, I would like to go ahead and Jack, hi, it's me, Alex Jones. I just wanted to appeal my suspension. If you please just go ahead and scrub ahead in my Periscope to the 13:45 time code, then you will see very clearly I yell psych. It says in your terms of service that I signed that if I yell psych after everything, then it's okay. Stokes Squirrel says it depends on context. People take him literally. I mean, that worries me. That I think is weird because I'm always never a fan of the look at the crowd and blame the person. Because if we're really going to blame the person needs to be the one saying the thing, and we need to be able to see it. Like I'm never a fan on this is a many sides argument for me. I hate it when people are like, look at the blaming a person for the audience. Be it, and you see it a lot with liberals, you see it a lot with conservatives. That's just me. Chimera 96, the person builds the crowd, but I mean, I know for a fact that there have been people that have been hardcore fans of shit that I've done, that have done things that were really fucked up, that I really, 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 really disagree with. So maybe maybe there's that. I don't know. Gladstone writes, forgive me if this is a repeat point. I've fallen behind on your shows, but in regards to last week's discussion of Alex Jones bans, you posed the question of where it ends. It would seem to me that when fans begin reposting his content on these platforms, the question is not, do they ban them because it's Alex Jones? Rather, I think they ban it on the same grounds they used to ban Alex Jones to begin with, on the grounds of the content of the programming. I'm not an expert in the terms of use on these sites, and it may be the case that they ban based on reposting, but this is where my brain went on the matter. Look, I know a lot of people keep saying this, like, Alex Jones is inciting people to violence, and I'm not going to cape up for Alex Jones. I'm not going to say that he didn't incite people to violence. I think he's a big boy. He can handle himself. He doesn't need little old me defending him. I will say that personally, having watched a fair amount of Alex Jones, him talking in that kind of metaphorical hyperbole, as I experience it, is not rare. I think it's kind of his brand. It's the way he communicates. I did not read that as inciting to violence. Whether or not other people did, that's fine. It's up to everybody. Joey, a.k.a. Diamond Scoop, writes, why is Stormy Daniels a thing? I understand why people talked about it at first. The president sleeps with the porn star, pays her not to say anything. But why is this a thing legally? Having an affair isn't illegal. It's just a scumbag thing to do. And unless I'm mistaken, paying her off isn't illegal. Non-disclosure agreements are a thing. So who gives an F? I must be missing part of this story. To be fair, I'm only mad because Colbert won't stop talking about it, and his show is on when I'm at work. It's embarrassing. I mean, it still is, a big embarrassing thing. You regularly don't see the porn star or a president embroiled in a controversy with a porn star. That's the reason why it's a thing. And because if it does get folded into the Mueller investigation, then it becomes a larger thing if he lies about it under oath, which seemingly would be consistent with his public statements, not a crime, versus him telling Robert Mueller under oath that he never slept with her. Tim writes, as a former member of the Tea Party, I can say that you are absolutely right about the Tea Party. I was in college during the rise of the Tea Party and attended one of the first rallies in Pittsburgh. A major part of the Tea Party was the belief that the Republicans were too moderate and the belief that we needed to go more conservative to win back Congress. I remember absolutely hating John McCain as our presidential nominee and believing he was a Republican in name only, or rhino, and that I had to hold my nose to vote for him. I also remember being won back to McCain's side when he brought Sarah Palin on the ticket. So your comparison to the Tea Party to the progressive movement right now is very apt. Of course, seeing as I'm now a left-leaning moderate, I look back on most of my Tea Party days with some shame, but it's funny seeing the whole thing happen again from the other side of the aisle. The two extremes really are mirrors of each other, no matter how much we like to deny it.
Politics, 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 politics.
That wraps it up for this week. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. TheYoungAmerican@gmail.com is where you can get your voice here on this show. Our music has been provided by Valesco and Trop Killers. You can follow me at Justin R. Young everywhere. Remember, get my free political newsletter at freepoliticalnewsletter.com. Again, freepoliticalnewsletter.com. 5 days a week, 5 stories a day. Mostly gifts, some hot takes. And now, the new edition, the political video of the day. Sometimes it's presidential or political remembrances. Sometimes it's funny campaign ads. Elizabeth Warren's opponent is apparently running on the She Likes Corn Dogs, Not Hot Dogs platform, which is a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it plays out for him. Anyway, that's it. Some shows talk about politics. Others talk about politics. Still more talk about politics. But this is the only show. Right here. This show talks about all three. See ya next week.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.